town at the time, so you had your rally with the Jewish community. What did you say basically about Israel's position vis-a-vis their decision of what they did going forward with the boarding the ships and taking them over?
Well, it's important that people understand that the flotilla is violating a internationally recognized blockade. That what Israel has done, with assistance from the Arab Republic of Egypt, by the way, is to have blockaded the Hamas rump nation state in Gaza, where Hamas, a terrorist organization that has vowed to destroy Israel, wants to get as many goods into Gaza that can be turned into weapons to fire at Israel with these rockets, these Qassam rockets made in Gaza. And so there are certain things that are not allowed to be imported into Israel because they are turned into weapons. They're turned into military infrastructure in Gaza. And so the blockade is in fact legally recognized. And when you look at what Israel did, where they sent commandos onto these ships that should have submitted themselves peacefully to inspection, and so they sent young commandos down into these vessels armed with paint guns and sidearms. Now, certainly you can admire the Israelis for their humanitarian impulse. I know if it was a U.S. military operation, there'd be no way ever that we would ever arm our troops, Coast Guard, Navy, whatever, with paintball guns. We just wouldn't do that. We'd go in armed, and if people were attacking us, we'd kill them. That's the way it works with the U.S. military. Now, obviously, Israel operates under different political restraints because of the PR issue. Israel does anything wrong, and they're attacked on a public relations standpoint. But I can't imagine any U.S. soldier or sailor or Coast Guard member being asked to board a ship of hostiles with paintball guns and sidearms. I mean, that's just not what would happen. But once they did board the ship and they were beaten within an inch of their life with iron bars and clubs and other things, and some of them had their sidearms taken from them, at that point is when things degenerated and got even more violent. People unfortunately lost their lives. But now we know that the people on board the ship actually wrote letters ahead of time expressing their great joy at the potential of being martyred. So, you know, this was a setup. People need to understand it was a setup. It was a con job. That's exactly what it was.
And I've seen on the internet, nowhere in the media, I've seen that there was ammunition and other stuff that really did fit into the description of the contraband that the Israeli government was looking to prevent coming into Gaza. But nowhere in the media will you hear this reported now.
Well, there have been other vessels. I'm not sure about this vessel, but there have been other vessels registered, for example, with the Islamic Republic of Iran that had come in years past, loaded with weaponry. That's why we have the blockade. That's why there's a blockade in place, to save lives, to prevent the escalation of violence directed by Hamas from Gaza at Israeli communities like Sderot right on the border. I was in Sderot in December of 2007, and the days before I was there were a number of rocket attacks, and the days after I was there were a number of rocket attacks. So this is not some theoretical problem. This is a daily problem, and I ask Americans to think of this. If there were daily rocket attacks coming from Tijuana aimed into San Diego, how long do you suppose Americans would restrain themselves before going in and taking care of the problem?
5 minutes, probably.
Well, and the thing that's remarkable that many Americans don't know is that Israel has provided Gaza with most of its electricity supplies and its pure water for the past many years. Well, I know if that was the Americans, there would have been an immediate cutoff of electricity and water. The international community and their outcries be damned, because we wouldn't have stood for it.
So the double standard is hurting Israel and ruining their lives, if not outright taking their lives.
Absolutely. It's just the way it is in the world community.
Okay.
Do you have any concerns about the Obama administration trying to reach out to Hamas to take them off the terror list?
Well, history has shown that wherever you do that in the Middle East, you only embolden more terror, because anytime we've ever reached out to these terror groups, they take that as a sign of weakness, and they usually double or triple their demands immediately as the result. They respect force, they respect firmness, they respect consistency.
Thank you very much.
Good point. Good point. Thank you for